What do you got?
Nice, dude.
You got your coffee?
You know I do, bro.
What are you rocking? What are you rocking today? What's on the menu?
Uh, Whatever Katie got, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just a medium roast Colombian. I think it is.
Mm.
Actually, you know what? I saw her pouring some grounds of Pete's in here. Pete's coffee. You guys have Pete's coffee?
I've seen it. It's is it based out of Seattle?
Seattle. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've seen it because it's like it's a common one that they have the pods of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. They have pods too. This is the actual ground. I'm going old school, man. Going right into the what do you call it? Like you put it in the filter, just pour the
Yeah.
grounds in the top there.
Regular coffee pot. Yeah.
Old school, man. I don't know. It just tastes better. I
This
have
is
the Keurig too, but I don't
this
know.
is an espresso. You
Oh,
go.
nice.
You ever do an espresso?
Yeah, but like I was actually looking at one of those machines to get.
Yeah.
They're kind of expensive.
Yeah, dude, it's worth it though. I mean,
Is it? Yeah.
I'll be honest, it is expensive because each of the things, the pods cost like probably at a bare minimum like $1.20 per pod. But there's always a deal. They always have some sort of deal where you can buy however many packs and you get some coffee mugs, or you get like two free, two pot like 2 packs of 10 free, or whatever. They always have something going on. I drink a lot. I love it. It's such good coffee, and so when I drink other coffee, it just does not compare in my opinion.
How do you drink your coffee? You putting anything in it? You going just straight black?
No, straight black.
Yeah.
That's my
Same.
go-to. You same,
Yep.
same.
Same. Yeah. I used to put a little stevia in there, which we'll talk about later today. But
Yeah.
I just like started putting nothing in it, and then I was like, man, you know what? Like this is better. There's like a little like learning curve, you know.
Yeah.
But once you get over that, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't miss the sweet part. I can actually like taste the coffee now. It's way better, man. Like I love it like this. I think adding stuff to it ruins it now, you know.
Yeah. No, I started out actually when I started drinking coffee, I went down to Costa Rica on it was for Spanish class, and I think it was in between my sophomore and junior year of high school. It was in a Spanish trip, and it was amazing. For years and years, it was the best trip I've ever been on. And maybe it's still, it's up there for sure in the top like 3 trips I've been on. It was amazing. But I stayed with a host family for a week, the last week of it. And they just spoke Spanish. And right around that area, they picked their own coffee beans, right? It was just like it grew in the forest right outside of their little small town that they lived in.
Yeah.
The coffee was amazing. So I started drinking coffee there, and they always put sugar in it. So I started drinking coffee with sugar is how I started drinking it for a while. And then once I started thinking more about my health, this was in college after my freshman year, I started drinking just straight black coffee because I like looked into it. I was like, oh, this is like supposed to be a lot healthier for you. Obviously, you're not putting sugar in it. And I really have never gone back since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of toggled back and forth for a while, but now I probably haven't put anything in my coffee in at least a couple years. Yeah. Like I used to do a little bit, and it was just, you know, what's crazy when you think about it, it's very environmentally driven. Like if somebody like my dad, when my dad comes to visit, he gets like the sugar-free, whatever, like vanilla thing. And like, that'll be in my fridge. Right. And then, so I would just kind of like subconsciously go, oh, well, I don't want it to go to waste. So I guess I'll use it a little bit in my coffee. And then before I knew it, like I was using it, and then like I was buying it again at the store, and I was like, dude, what am I doing? And so now I'm just like, I'm not going to say like super strict on it, but I just actually enjoy the taste better to where I've like adjusted my palate to it. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to go back to the other stuff. I bet you if I put sweetener in there now, or like, you know, anything just to kind of spice it up a little bit, it'd probably be too overwhelming. It'd probably be too much. I think I've dumbed my palate down to where I enjoy it now.
It gets sweet. And I'll say for a long time, I would put Bailey's in my coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Weekends, you get like a Sunday or Saturday that you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Toss
Bailey's and coffee.
we used to, even in high school, I shouldn't say that, high school, probably was college actually,
Mm-hmm.
we would do Irish coffees where you put Jameson whiskey
Oh.
in your coffee. Now, mind you, that does not taste very good at all. You you want to get
But that's a real thing, huh?
if you want to get on one pretty quick, that's
Yeah.
you wake up and start putting Jameson in your coffee. You're going to be you definitely
Yeah.
can't drive after you wake up.
No,
That's out the
that
window.
sounds like that sounds like if you're in somebody else's car and you guys are carpooling to like a game or something, and
Yeah.
you're like you want to wake up. It's like a midday game, but you want to get there early to tailgate. Like that's a Jameson coffee day right there.
We'll give you the context. So
Yeah. Paint the picture.
Minnesota in the wintertime at certain points is not very pleasant. It's
Oh
really
yeah.
cold.
Yep.
And sometimes when we just didn't have anything going on a Saturday, we would go up to play bingo. And bingo started at like 11 or noon, I think it was. I'm not 100% sure. But we would just wake up and we're like, we're going to Uber to bingo, or we're going to get a ride up to bingo. We're going to find our way to bingo, and we're just going to go with some Irish coffees here in the morning. So by the time we got to bingo, we probably didn't even need any of the drinks that they had.
Yeah. Bingo, huh? Like
College. Yeah, it was college
yeah,
time.
like Blue
Back home.
34.
That was like college back home for
Okay.
winter break, or
Yep. Yep. Yep.
college, or like after college, like right after college.
Yep. Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I think and for a huge part of my life, I wouldn't say I started drinking coffee until later. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I really drank coffee through definitely not in high school. I don't even think in college, man. Maybe a little bit, like if one of my teammates made some or something. Like, but I remember if I feel like it was more popular for other people, and like they'd go pick up coffee and be like, "Hey, you want anything?" And I'd always be the person to be like, "No, I'm good." Like, I don't want any coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. But now it's a different story, man. Now and same thing. I think it had to do with the transition into health and fitness. You're more conscious. You're more aware. I'm like, man, there's a lot of crap that I drink. I could definitely supplement something and switch some of these out for some coffee here. Like it's probably more beneficial. And so I started doing that. Was kind of more of the transition for me, was just like, okay, can I get a little pick me up, but do it in like a healthier way versus taking a bunch of stimulant pre-workouts and stuff. And that had me dive down a whole rabbit hole too, of like, okay, what pre-workouts am I choosing to take? And like, what are actually in these things versus just going by brand or label or so-and-so's taking it. And then that got me to dive in and do some research on those as well. So I think the transition into coffee, it opened my eyes to things for sure, and was like, man, what am I doing that's not serving me? Can I just be doing coffee like as a standalone? I bet you that's a lot healthier. I feel better too, right? Like you don't feel like you're taking a bunch of crap. So I like it, man. Coffee with dudes.
Coffee with dudes. And I just, while you were talking about that, I just figured I would look into a little bit of research on it, right? Because it's like we kind of dove into coffee here for this episode, and it wasn't like we popped on here and decided that we're going to do it, but it talks about all the benefits, right? So improved cognitive function, mental alertness. Obviously, that's pretty obvious, right? You get that up, you get that caffeine. But it also says that it's been found that regular coffee consumption is linked to lower risk of cognitive decline and dementia, including conditions like Alzheimer's disease. It helps block the adenosine receptors, which can reduce fatigue, improve mental alertness, increase metabolism, fat burning. That's pretty obvious as well. Often, people will, gets your metabolic rate going a little bit faster. Reduced risk of type 2 diabetes. So this is, I guess I didn't know this, but it says some studies have found that regular coffee consumption is associated with a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. The mechanisms are thought to involve coffee's effective insulin sensitivity and its ability to improve glucose metabolism. And it has antioxidants. Research suggests the antioxidants in coffee, including chlorogenic acids, may play a role in improving insulin sensitivity or reducing inflammation. Interesting, right?
Yeah,
and
I like it.
Cardiovascular. There's a lot of things on here that it helps, and obviously this is with a moderation approach. If you're drinking, a pot of coffee a day, I would imagine.
And relying on it too. That's another thing, right? Like
Yeah.
imagine the other lifestyle factors that take a hit if you become reliant on this. And you and I have talked about this before too, as well as like it's anything in excess. You're probably going to, when you swing too far, there's probably going to be something that is going to get sacrificed or going to take a hit because of it, And so
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those things. Like do it in moderation. But you and I have also talked about like the tolerance that you build to caffeine, right? So
Yeah.
now you got to take more to get the same effects that you once did. And so I think a lot of it too, and something that flies under the radar that came to mind that when you were talking was like the psychological aspect of it too, like which is why probably people can have decaf and just the taste of it, or like the feeling of when they have hot coffee, like it probably puts them in this mind state of like, oh man, I'm drinking coffee now, I can go about my day, don't talk to me unless I've had my cup of coffee yet.
Yeah.
And, so I think it has that psychological aspect of it too. Obviously it has the physical side of things that you were talking about, but I think mentally, I think even that's why like a placebo or a decaf could work and you could get like similar benefits.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
100% true. And that's what this says as well. Is it says first off, moderation's key. While coffee has many benefits, excessive consumption, more than 4 to 5 cups a day, may lead to negative side effects. Right, for some people, insomnia, increased anxiety, digestive issues. Obviously you're going to negate some of those benefits, like we mentioned. If you add sugar, creamers to it, there's obviously better options out there, as far as there's like, low fat, low calorie creamers that you could go to. But we'll talk about the artificial sweetener side of things a little, like in one of the future episodes up here as well. But it also talks about just individual perspective, right? Some people are more sensitive to caffeine. And also, like, for those people who maybe have, you get jittery or you get like kind of crazy on it, you had mentioned decaf could be a good move for you. You can go to decaf, or you can not drink coffee at all. Really, like it's like
Yeah.
not like a bad thing to not drink
That'd be a
coffee.
bummer, but yeah, go
Yeah.
for it. I mean, you don't have to, right? Like I was in that crowd for a long time. I felt like I was left out. And like, I feel like people would go get like coffee orders and I'd be the only one. I remember like in work environments, same thing. Like, you don't drink coffee? And I'm like, nah, not really. Like, I mean, no, like unless
Yeah.
somebody, the only time I think I would drink coffee before I actually really started drinking coffee was like if somebody ordered an extra one and like they were ordering from the group and like there was an extra one from Starbucks or something. They were like, hey, do you want it? And I'm like, I guess, like, and I would just drink extra calories. Those things probably had a ton. I don't even know what was in it. But I was like, yeah, I get it. It's like a caramel frappy flappy, whatever, and it just had a bunch of crap in it. So I'm like, yes, this looks good. I would drink it because it was free. But other than that, man, yeah, not like how I enjoy and drink coffee now and actually like look forward to it. And like, totally different. So
I love it. I love
I
it.
do too, man.
It turns into, for a lot of, and honestly, I associate like a relaxing thing with coffee,
Me too.
especially on the weekends. We'll do
Oh,
like being able to, during the week, maybe it's a little bit harder. You're kind of, you're moving and grooving in the morning, and maybe you're grabbing like a to go mug on the way out of the house. But
sorry about that. Cats.
on the weekends, when I'm able to, like, Marissa and I are able to like sit on the patio and have coffee, or
Mm-hmm.
sit on the couch if it's a little bit chillier out, sit on the couch and have some coffee. That's like I look forward to that a
The
lot. I think
best, man.
coffee,
The best.
at certain points I've talked about and thought about, like, oh, maybe I'll reduce it because I don't really get the effects, but I love drinking it, and I don't drink a crazy amount. I'm generally a 1 to 2 cups a day kind of guy. I used to drink like a pot a day back
Mm-hmm.
in college. And I mean, at that point, I would just make a pot and just like basically drink 5 cups and then it would be gone. It's like you
Yeah.
just pound it, but
Yeah.
that's diminishing returns at that point.
Right. I'm 1 to 2 a day right now. Like, and not even a day. I shouldn't even say that. Like, maybe 1 to 2 times a week, but I'll
Oh,
do
wow.
1 to 2. So like, I like to do it as something like, for me, I look forward to it, right? Like if we're doing it on the pod, for sure going to have it, right? Like if we're not recording late, right? And then if, like you said, there's something about the weekend, early morning, cool, brisk out, having your cup of coffee, especially like I love to fish. There's something about like, even if you just stop at the gas station in the morning and get a gas station coffee, it just sets the tone for the day, man. I don't know, something about it. I try to have one where I have it like in some sort of like canteen or something that I can take with me, like a go-to, and then one on the ride to the lake. And then by the time I launch the boat on the water, dude, it's beautiful scenery out, nice and cool and crisp, early morning, sun's just coming up, fog's on the top of the water, and you're just sipping your coffee. It's just like, dude, it's a vibe
Yeah,
for sure.
I love it,
It's
dude.
awesome.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
does set the tone. It is coffee with dudes, so we're always going to have our coffee, or at least I know when we do a little bit later. I don't have decaf around the house right now, so
Tea.
I generally do a little tea or something like that, maybe on our
Yeah.
later recorded episodes. But we're early enough today where we're pounding some fucking coffee,
Yeah.
having a good day. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day out there. Enjoyed this little coffee with dudes coffee episode that was unplanned. I mean, there is, just to recap, tons of benefits to drinking coffee. I didn't even get to the other ones of cardiovascular health, liver health, improvement in mood, reduced risk of depression, reduced risk of certain cancers, protection against Parkinson's disease, improved gut health, longer life expectancy. Now, there's caveats to that. That's what I found, just research, just a quick little chat GPT of like some of the benefits on the research side of things to coffee. There's obviously, like we mentioned as well, diminishing returns to it if you really go crazy with it, or if you have those kind of drinks that are just loaded with calories. You get the caramel macchiato, frappuccino, low foam, with like whatever it is off of Starbucks, and it's 750 calories. It's cool that I want to be mindful. It's cool to have those here and there, but like having those on an everyday or a regular basis probably isn't necessarily going to get you towards your health and fitness goals as quickly as it could if you didn't, or if you just like had it once a week, right? So hope you guys enjoy this one as much as we did. If you do, all we just ask is, if you're not already following us, make sure you follow, subscribe, comment at the topic that you want us to talk about, and we'll make sure we get to it. We appreciate you. Hope you have a good rest of the day, good rest of the week, and we will be talking to you soon.